I've decided that before I do the breakdown on my webinar on the top performing AI infrastructure that every partner that we're working with is selling and killing it with, I've decided to drop as much undeniable proof to help you guys see what I'm seeing, okay? Today I'm gonna be dropping the second client transformation with these two partners that started working with us, I believe, late December. I'm gonna be talking about it anyway in the interview, so you guys will be able to get more context. But we started working together. They were previously in another program where they were able to scale close to 10K per month, but they were churning their clients and just running harder just to stay in the same position. Then they started seeing this opportunity to start selling AI infrastructures, got on it, and I believe in their 60 days later they were making 35K per month. But here is an important thing I want you guys to understand. They did 35K per month with a 3% closing rate. Okay? That's insane to actually be able to achieve, because that means that they were booking at least over 100 calls per month, closing at 3%, and we're able to do 35K per month, right? Right now, one of the things we're doing is replacing a closer for them, help them up that to like at least the minimum, worst case scenario, 15%. Because if we are able to achieve that, we'll literally take the same business, keep the same metrics, but bring in 150 grand a month. Okay. I don't believe this type of growth would have been possible if they weren't necessarily pushing this, leveraging this trend of AI. So I hope you guys will get to enjoy this interview. Again, Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern, I'm hosting a webinar walking you guys through this exact offer, the acquisition infrastructure, and also how we're going about fulfillment. So if you haven't yet registered, register right now. There's a limited capacity on the Zoom for 500 people, primarily because we actually want to keep it restricted so that less people can get on. So the only people who actually end up getting on are people who value it. So opt in, comment below what you guys want to hear from this, from the webinar coming up. So leave a comment, like this video, blow it up. We're making people multiple six figures run rate in the first 60-90 days of them launching the software. So I want as many people on this as possible. So enjoy. All right. So first, how old are you guys?
I'm 20.
I'm 18.
Okay. Love it. And did you guys connect? You guys connected after in the program, right? Or did you know each other before joining the program?
So we met in a different program. So we started our agencies both from zero at around the same time in about August. Then we joined a program that kind of helped scale from like 0 to 10K a month, give or take. And we met in there, and then we kind of got the most out of that program. And I was looking at your program for a minute. I hopped on calls with you guys back in May, and I hopped on another one in like August. And every time I got on, the price was changing. So I was like, damn, I got to get in this soon. And so once was doing like nothing crazy, like 5 to 7K a month. And then I messaged you on Instagram and was asking about your program a bit, seeing if I was too small to join or if I was a good size. You said just depends on how much work you're going to put in. So then I messaged Nick. I was like, look, man, I'm going to join Serge's program. And then we pretty much both ended up joining like within 2 days of each other. And then we ended up partnering up after like a couple weeks, switched from working with med spas to an AI BNR. And that's been a game changer since we switched to that.
Love it. Before we get into the BNR stuff, what I would really want to, because I think the thing that a lot of people miss out is they miss out on the story and on the journey. So I'd love to hear just like, what is the background? How did you guys get started? What triggered you guys into thinking that you guys can deserve more and can go ahead and make millions? Like, how is it? And then, Jackson or Nick, you guys can pick who goes first.
Yeah, I can go first.
Walk it through, yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
So, basically, me and Jax kind of realized just how motivated we were. So, just to give you a bit of an idea, I mean, the last 3-4 weeks, I've probably had like an hour, 2 hours of family time or even friends. Like once a week, I'll maybe go out for a bit. Like 16, 17-hour days where we're hammering this out. and honestly just our dedication, right? So anything really, um, like for example, we're trying to read as many books now. We're getting into, trying to run in the mornings before all this work. We're already working 17 hours and we want to push even farther. So I think
Yeah.
really dedication, um, and really envisioning ourselves in the beginning. I could envision myself hitting 30K, 40K a month. And now that I'm here, I can envision myself hitting 100K, 200K, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really just, even though it sounds cringe, it's almost like a manifesting.
Yeah.
Where if you put in the work, it's inevitable to happen. Maybe not as quickly as, hitting it at 18 years old like I did. And I mean, I didn't make it yet, right? I only made 30K for like 35K, but
Yeah.
it's, I think there's no way that we would have gone wrong. And me and Jax both knew inevitably, especially partnering up and kind of doing a friendly competition, right?
Yeah.
So what we, implemented um, in the beginning, it was like a point system where
Mhm.
whoever gets this client gets this amount of points, right? And we were like, fuck the money. I just want to beat you in points, right? So that was it's dedication. And in my
And were
opinion.
you, were you guys, or were you still in school when you started your agency, or did you finish high school and then like how did that work out?
Yeah, so I was in first year uni,
Hmm.
and essentially throughout my whole semester I was balancing my old agency um with school. And
Yeah.
obviously that's really hard, right? And what happened is during the break, we had like the winter break. Um, I transitioned in the GCP, and then I was having 15 to 16-hour days, and then I made 8K on one phone call, like a 30-minute phone call, and then I realized fuck school, right? I can't focus in class when I know I can do that in 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So
That's funny. That's funny. I mean,
yeah,
it's true. If you can make 8 grand in 30 minutes, then it's like, what are you gonna study?
exactly. So I essentially dropped out. Right? I
Yeah.
told my dad, I showed him my stripe. He's Europe Eastern European, right? So he didn't like it. But I think he's slowly coming to understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Over
yeah.
time, he'll get over it. Interesting. That's sick. That's sick. And what about you, Jax?
Yeah, so I'm a bit older than Nick, like a year and a half, 2 years older. So I ended up I dropped out after my second year of university. Um, I knew from the start, like when I went to university, I was like, man, like getting a business degree, but like I knew I wanted to start a business. The whole time at this point I had no clue what, but I knew I wanted to do something, start a business. And so after like the first year of university, um, I was like, damn, man, this is a lot less like learning than I thought, more just straight degeneracy. Like everybody's just fucking partying all the time. Nobody goes to class. And then I started looking at just how to start a business. Start off with like just copywriting. Start taking copywriting courses, just learning how to do something. Um, and then I just kind of transitioned into the SMA space. Started watching a lot of videos, just learning as much as I could. I at this point I stopped going to class, and I was just spending all my time learning sales, marketing, just online, YouTube. Um, and then I went to two of my boys who I was confident that we could kind of start something. And I was like, yo, boys, do you want to start uh, ad agency, copywriting, this sort of stuff for businesses? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we started, but then I slowly started, like, I was taking it fully serious and was almost like, don't get me wrong, I love my boys, but they were perceiving it as like, maybe like an activity or something, just kind of for fun and like the spare time. And so slowly, as months went by, one person stopped, fell out, another partner dropped off. And then by August of last year, I was on my own. So I started my own agency advertising med spas. Um, and just learning, join the program. I'll always believe paying for knowledge, paying mentors, programs is just a fast track is the best way to go. So I went to a bit of debt to just learn SMMA from zero, scaled my med spa agency to um, about 5K a month in the first like 2 weeks. And at this point, I was like, damn, this is awesome. And then stayed at about 5 to 7K for the next like 3 months. And I was nonstop fulfilling. I had no VA, so I was booking all the appointments for my med spas, just taking up so much time. So I was like trying to figure out a way to do it. Um, and then eventually I joined GCP, and then we transitioned to AI BNR, and then exploded from like 5K a month to immediately we did 35K this month. Um, and so yeah, it's not really as much of when did I think I was going to be deserving of it. I honestly think anybody could do this. It's just a matter of putting in the work that makes you deserving of it. And I just kind of realized that the only way you lose is when you give up. So if you keep going, it's inevitable you're gonna make it in whatever kind of realm you're looking to pursue. So that's kind of just my motive of going with it, is just keep going. And it's an inevitable amount of problems that keep coming at you. So it's just a different, you get a bit higher, it's a new problem you have to kind of face. It's just better problems as you get higher and higher in the chain. And we're still in the early stages of things, only 30K a month. We have a lot planned for scaling and stuff. And so, yeah, that's kind of quick run through my story there.
Sick. Okay, so you both dropped out of uni. Great. I didn't go to uni personally. I mean, I dropped out of CJEP, but it wasn't really dropping out. It was just me taking a break, and I never went back. But I actually didn't quit school because I had nothing going on. It's not like I would quit to go venture into something. I just never went back because and I left for a bit, and then I was like, well, what is this degree actually going to give me? And I couldn't understand. I couldn't see a clear path, so I just never went back. But you just said something interesting for you, Jax, which is you did scale your med spa agency, and you were stuck at 5 to 7K a month. And I think there is an important lesson to be had there, because just because you figure out how to do lead gen and do appointment setting and sell and get a client does not mean you necessarily know how to scale a business, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people get stuck into that. Oh, I can get a client. Oh, I can stack a few retainers and make 5 to 10K a month. But it's like, no, that's just a job. It's just that instead of actually being good at one job working for one company, you just have 3 jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for anyone listening to this who has 3 jobs, stop the madness. What the hell are you doing? Like, it's crazy. Cool. So jumped into GCP. Then what's the transition part between MedSpa? Because I'm sure you guys came in with, at least you Jax, you came in with MedSpa. Nick, what did you join doing?
Yeah, so I had so many doubts because when I was doing it, I was thinking long term. And I was thinking, okay, so my business model right now is pay after I bring them results. Okay. Eventually we switched over to like a pay up front, um and then if I don't do what I promise, I refund them, right? I was thinking, okay, so even if I close like a pretty big client on, let's say like a 3 month retainer, right?
Mhm.
For 6K for that client, right? The amount of work for, so 3 months, so 2K per month, right?
Right.
The amount of work and the possibility of my success rate just because of the previous med spa clients I was working for, right, was probably 20%. So
Mm.
essentially, my business model was okay, let's say best case scenario, it's a coin flip, where at the end of the 3 months, I bring them 100 appointments that I promised, right?
Yeah.
Then, I mean, I could work 3 months, put in all that tears and sweat, the stress, right? Because each appointment for each individual med spa, I was losing sleep at night. I was like, oh, they said they're gonna pay the deposit. They didn't, right? And I was like, this is impossible to scale past 20K, right? Best case scenario, this is impossible. Um, Without, proper systems in place. I'm sure it's, the 0.5% of people that go into the med spa appointment setting, they, hit it on the spot. But just the clients, honestly, I think it's the niche itself because it's just so oversaturated. They've had bad past experiences, so they won't take my advice, right? I'd suggest them, okay, hey, how are you going to expect people to show up without pre-deposits for your appointments, right? They didn't want to listen to me. Said, oh, it's too much work. So
Yeah.
I knew right away I had to switch. And I was, initially I was thinking of doing some sort of consulting,
Mhm.
right? Going into consulting. But then again, that's also saturated. So I decided, you know what, right? I spoke to Jax. He was like, okay, we've only given them a try for 3 months, like med spa appointment setting. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know what? Let's go into GCP, see what can happen. Um, and then it was going good, right? I was getting good cost per lead for my ads. I was about to sign on a new client, and then the transition was Wyatt. So networking within GCP, and essentially that's when he introduced us to this. Um, kind of walked us through it, and then that's when it really took off. Like as soon as me and Jax kind of saw the potential, we were like, okay, let's give it a try. The
Yeah.
first deal we closed, we both said to our med spas, we're done, right? And that was it.
I want to go back to this realization where you in the med spa appointment setting. Now, I do, let's not say that med spa is not it's hard, but it's not impossible to actually fulfill for, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't have a team, if you don't have a crazy infrastructure to actually fulfill, and if you don't have the authority or at least the education to the clients you're attracting, then yeah, you're not going to fulfill. Because to fulfill, you need the client to actually respect everything you do and follow to like as you say it, and you also need to do the work.
Mhm.
So for you, you were telling people only 20%. So you would 6K, 3 months, 3 months of stress, and at the end, 80% of the clients could potentially not hit the 100 appointments. So you had 80% probability of refunding after 3 months of fucking work, of
Yeah,
crazy work. So it's like, it's essentially, you should have just had been jobless and it would have been better.
exactly. Exactly. And the funny thing is, this is not related to the niche or whatever. I mean, maybe it's just me and Jax got the, bad luck of the draw or whatever you want to say.
Mhm.
But for the clients I did fulfill for, right? Ironically, after I fulfilled for them, right? One of my bigger clients with that I had on a 2K retainer.
Yeah.
So the way that it worked is when I onboarded, they paid a large upfront payment and then I would cover their ads because what I found happening was once you put a credit card on Facebook ads and it cancels, it resets the algorithm and all that, right? So I wanted to avoid that probability. And then I also thought, okay, I could build up, if they pay me up front and I cover the ads with my card, I can make points, right? Whatever. I thought I was smart. Then what happened was I ran the ads for her for a month. I paid 1,700 in ads US, and then she paid me 1,000 for the appointments I brought her that month. Guess what? So after I told her, oh, I'm sorry, I'm switching over to another business, we're closing down, whatever, she filed for a dispute, right? 2.7K. So not only did I bring her probably 6, 7 grand worth of clients, I worked for free and I paid for her ads.
Oh my
Now,
God.
funny thing is, Jax, same thing with a client. He did all the work and she never paid him, right? So I thought, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a sign, right? That as soon as I don't know, med spa wasn't a good idea, and as soon as we switched over, right, like you said, the 3 months of stress of the coin flip, right? Best case scenario that we get paid.
Yeah.
Now we pay 8K up front. I build it out and it's done, right? It takes a couple days and it's done. I never have to look at it again, right? The
Yeah.
power of build and release is insane.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Now let's get into, because we're about to get into AI. I've had actual interview with Wyatt, right? I haven't yet posted it because I'm like, when I do post it, then everybody's gonna want to jump on it. But here's something I want to preface or I want to clarify. We're about to talk about something. It is a trend. It is going. It's new, but a lot of people who will be watching this, one thing that I want them to understand is if you don't have depth, then you're just literally just flipping a coin again. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to actually build these things out and actually be able to fulfill, then you might potentially just be as much of a scammer as um as a scammer, right?
Yeah.
So it is super important to understand that AI is not an opportunity for people to just come in and have no depth. You guys, even though you guys failed in a specific niche or had a hard time, that actually made you, because without the med spa, I don't actually think you guys would have scaled this fast um
For
with this
sure.
AI software. So that's
Yeah.
fun. Like failure actually is just a compounding step to success, you know? So walk us through. So walk me through. So you guys, Wyatt, what he was doing, you guys saw the potential of building these AI dialers, or maybe you guys want to break down your offer, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
sure.
So yeah,
Jax,
go
yeah.
ahead. Okay, sure. Yeah. So we offer build and release model of the AI infrastructure. So we hop on the call with people. There's usually three kind of main avenues they want it for. It's either cold calling, outbound calls from leads that come through ads, or inbound calling, like customer service side of things. Um, and so it can completely replace the entire need for VAs. And this was rare. So when I was in my med spa agency, it was just ridiculous how much time I was spending trying to book appointments for all these med spas. I hired VAs, and it was just I couldn't get the quality I was looking for. And I was always talking about I need to like an AI caller would be game changing. So I was trying to figure out ways to build it. I'm not a coder, so I was trying to look at ways to build it, just seeing possible avenues. And as soon as we joined GCP and saw this AI caller, we immediately knew like, okay, this could benefit any business in any industry, and it can completely replace VAs, completely replace even sales reps, front desk receptionists, all that, and so we build that out start to finish. It's essentially a complete done for you process for whatever role they need, whether it's appointment setting, cold calling, closing, whatever. We build an AI rep to handle that entire task. And since it can handle such high volume, it can essentially do the output of 10,000 appointment setters. And they don't have to have it on payroll. There's no variables that you get with VAs. Like they may get sick, they aren't feeling it that day, they're not making good quality calls. The AI is always there, so it can really benefit any business. And the demand has been absolutely ridiculous for this. Like as soon as we launched our ads, and that was one benefit we had because we knew how to run ads fairly well just from the med spas. And so we launched our campaign. Immediately, we're getting like $3 to $4 leads. First day we had like 7 booked calls, and even to this day we're still getting 7 to even on the high end like 15 calls per day. But our close rate is just absolutely horrendous. So like we collected 35 grand this month on probably a 3% close rate. So
Wow.
so we were like, okay, so we got to get a closer. We got to put our egos aside. We suck at closing. So so we just hired a closer yesterday, and he's talking like, boys, we can definitely get you to 20% close rate very quickly. With how good your offer is, I just see no reason why we don't get to a 30, 40, even 50% close rate. And so that's our main bottleneck was our close rate was just we were terrible. So if we get this guy in here to close now, I see no reason why we're not going to be doing 6-figure, $250,000 months in the near future, just based off the numbers. So that's kind of our offer and where we're sitting at right now.
Let's break down the numbers. So you guys are getting $3-4 lead. What is the cost of appointments, and what's your show rate like?
Yeah. So, sorry. I
No,
can.
go ahead.
Okay. So right now, when we first started, we were getting sub $2 leads. Now, what was happening was with Facebook ads library, you can see kind of how many people are running a similar ad to you, right? And what we had was in the beginning, we were the only person running those ads, okay? And what we found is other people would just copy our entire thing. Like we could hear our voices and they'd slap their logo on, right? So now our cost per lead's a little bit higher. We're at like 4 or 5. We've started watermarking our ads as well,
Sick.
to avoid that. Um, but we're at $4 or $5 leads, usually $15 per booked appointment. We have like 12 appointments, so on average 8 to 15 per day, and our show up rate's about 75%, 80%. That has been dropping as well. I don't know what we're doing wrong. But the cool thing is part of our sales call is they hop on and they say, how do I know this works? Right?
Mhm.
And what I do is I basically say, well, it worked because you're here today. So we don't have a real person booking in calls. We have our ads running. We have the SMS, the email going out to nurture, and then we have the AI caller call and book, right? So we know it works because it booked you in. Now,
So,
the
okay,
cool,
so you're using the AI to actually call the lead. So you're using it
yes.
yourself.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
using it ourselves, which is another
Wow.
thing that we did to practice so that we could be able to implement that for businesses.
Yeah.
And when they say, okay, but there's no statistics, right?
Okay.
But I open it up and I show, well, here's the statistics. For everyone that picks up, 1 in every 4 calls are booked. What are you gonna say, right? What are you gonna say if I have it in your face and I used it and you were booked in by it, right? You can't say shit, right? So that's another benefit. So sorry, I kind of went off track. So
You're
like
good.
$4 or $5 leads right now. 8 to 12. Now we're running $100 a day ad spend. We up it every day. We're slowly increasing it. So 8 to 12 appointments per day. 75% show rate, and like I said, dog shit close rate. Like we have a 3%.
So you guys, so you're spending like $100 a day, getting 8 to 12 calls a day. So your cost per appointment is like 10 to 15 bucks.
Yep.
Give or
Uh,
take, yeah.
yeah. And then if you guys are getting 75% show up rate, then you're getting maybe like $20 to $25 per actual show up call.
Hmm.
Yeah, probably about that.
And then what's interesting is because 75% show up rate on cold is on ads is ridiculously good.
Hmm.
We get that, but we're super heavy on organic, right?
Yeah.
So like most businesses who are going cold, they're probably getting like if they even get 50%, they're ecstatic, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Damn,
so
okay. I didn't know
that's
that,
what
yeah.
I was a little impressed that you guys are running ads and getting 75% show up rate. Like that's fucking sick.
We
So
don't,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't even have a VSL or anything yet. We just go straight to Calendly to book. We're in the process of setting up a VSL to try to increase like warm them up a bit more. Um, but yeah, the ads, they just really started crushing immediately. Um, that was a big turning point for us for sure.
yeah.
We do bomb them with text and email reminders. So
Oh yeah.
like we have a ton of pre-call videos. Like it's like 3 days before, 24 hours,
Nice.
3 hours, 10 minutes. So we go heavy on that. But um, yeah,
Love it. Love it. Okay, cool. So then you get a client, then how fast are you guys what's the onboarding like and how have you guys set that up?
yeah.
Yeah,
So sorry, you want to go ahead, Jack?
no, you got it. Go ahead.
So the process really is. So in the beginning, what we've done is we've really let the client have as much customization as they need. And now what we've run into is, okay, if the CRM that we're not familiar with is fucking up and it goes down, or this isn't working, or this isn't, they're gonna blame it on us, right?
Yep.
So in the beginning, we were kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter what CRM, we'll integrate it because as long as you can use webhooks, whatever, we use Zapier, whatever, right? Now we've kind of shifted more towards just using high level, right? Just because we know it works, we use it, right? And that's that, I want to be able to sell and implement this product that I know works, and I don't know if it works with their CRM, right?
Yeah.
Um, sorry about my dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that. Um, Jackson, maybe you take over. You take over.
No, we can't actually hear the dog, so you're good.
Oh, okay, you can.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, what was the question? I just
We're just fulfillment. So you guys were first dealing with that. Hey, we'll do everything customization, but you guys realized that
Yeah.
it's a lot of complexity, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And now we pretty much, most of the people, granted, probably 50% of the people we speak to are already using Go High Level, so it works well. And the other ones are open to add it on for 97 bucks a month. So yeah, we're looking to kind of just have them use Go High Level. And not only do we know high level, we know if there's any issues, we 100% confident we can go in and fix it because we're so comfortable with the platform. And we'd be able to really take care of support. And we'd also be able to train people to delegate that support. We'd be able to train it. We know we could do it well. And it also makes our fulfillment process a lot easier. It makes it almost a copy and paste system, right? We have the snapshot, we have the AI. We can realistically, we like when we onboard people, we say it takes about 5 to 7 days to get it from start to finish. Since we want to do testing and whatnot throughout the period, have them speak to the AI, 100% approve it before we go live. But yeah, the fulfillment, like in terms of building it out from start to finish, with Go High Level and our kind of copy paste system, you can have it done in a couple hours. And it's of huge value to the business. So now we can just kind of optimize our process. Our biggest thing now that we got a closer, and now that we don't have to spend all day taking sales calls to not even close people, we are really wanting to optimize our systems and really just make the business be able to operate as efficiently as possible, have as much automated as we can. And that's kind of what we're moving into now to try to learn how to do that best. And GCP's got a ton of resources for that. So going to be looking into that as well. And yeah, we just really want to master our systems and get a good, efficient processes set up.
Yeah. I was talking to Wyatt, and he made also this mistake, which is at first he thought that, oh, let me just because when you're starting out, you think that giving the clients as much leeway and giving personalization is essentially helping them, but you actually end up hurting yourself because now you're having to be boggled down in the details with stuff that don't actually matter. Like, it's like the thing is like it stops serving the wrong person because you could get 10 clients, but then you're having to relearn the fulfillment with every client. Instead of just having one client, you build and release the same AI infrastructure where you can even use VAs. One of the things we're doing, maybe because I haven't told you this, but we're building up a pool of integrators because one of the things that Wyatt said that was a bit bottleneck is kind of like just the execution and integration, right? So what we're going to be supporting you guys with is we're going to build a pool of VAs who are trained on the actual setup. So you guys can just focus on selling. I mean, you guys don't even sell, but we essentially remove you also from fulfillment with just the $3 an hour VAs.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
awesome. Yeah.
exactly what we were like our next step once we had a closer is to find like high IQ VAs for fulfilling.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So yeah, because that's really, I mean, this AI integration shit. To be honest, I'm gonna tell you guys this. It's like the stars aligned with build and release and AI. That's what
Yeah.
I'm because I haven't really talked about it much because I don't like to push something until it's been validated. And but now that there's Wyatt, there is you guys, and there's also a few people who are doing it well, then I'm like, okay, cool. Then there's actual use cases because a lot of AI stuff, a lot of people aren't trending on AI, like okay, language models, but it's like, yeah, Chat GPT is going to be useless for a business. But when you actually can replace real productivity, appointment setting, lead flow, sales, then you're actually solving an actual problem. You know what I mean? So now it's a bit more exciting, and I think it's the perfect, most leveraged, probably build and release offer you can have because all you need is just plug and play, but you're still delivering. And I haven't seen you guys how you guys sell this, but do you guys want to walk me through kind of like the positioning? Like let's say I'm on a sales call, I'm like, okay, cool, so this AI say could do outbound, could do, but how do you guys explain
Yeah. So this is
value
where,
8K? That's
yeah.
where I want
So
to
So
see.
this is where we need to improve ourselves because clearly our close rate shows that we may not have the best structure to the way we approach it. But one thing I can say is we've probably had 100, pushing 150 calls now just over this January, and we closed about 5. So that's our close rate. But what I can say is there was maybe 3 people that said, no, this isn't for me. Every single other person said, this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I need this in my business. Um, and so the demand is ridiculous for this. And so the way we approach it is the start will kind of, ask them questions about their business to get a better idea of what they're specifically looking to use it for, and kind of find what they need, what their, say, diagnosis is, and then we'll kind of prescribe them the solution that we think would be best. And then they'll kind of start asking questions about how it works internally, and we'll kind of cover that. And then, yeah, so that's kind of the start is kind of the discovery sort of things, and then into the nitty gritty of how it operates, and then we'll pitch them on the price. Most businesses aren't phased by the price, other than like the 0 to 10K a month ones. They're a bit more hesitant on the price. But most businesses, when we pitch them on the price, they're not phased by the price at all. They see the value in it. We just suck at closing.
So check this out. Let's talk about sales. And I think this is going to be the main, because I'm sure the reason why you guys are probably not closing a lot is because
it's more of financial qualification stuff, right? People maybe don't feel yet comfortable spending 8K or blah blah blah, right? But let's remove people who are actually qualified or who can access capital. I actually do think that the best way to sell this AI thing is to almost like showcase the efficiency when it comes to potential in capital efficiency. So as an example, I think you guys should model two types of businesses using people in their sales process versus AI. Okay. And I don't know, are you guys doing this yet? Are you guys kind of like doing projections with both and looking at the cost and productivity and also the cost efficiency? Are you guys doing it or no?
Yeah. So
Occasionally, yeah.
yeah, so like when I go at it for my calls, because we do it individually, we don't hop on together. I compare it
Okay.
directly with like to minimum wage. Okay, and I
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, so you can hire a VA from the Philippines with a strong accent, someone who complains, whines, needs to be trained, gets sick, right? For the same price, you hire a VA, AI VA that can handle 10,000 calls, has no accent, doesn't need to be trained, doesn't get sick, right? And then I compare them directly and I say, okay, so you can pay $6 an hour for this AI, or you can pay $18 an hour for English speaking, right? No accent. Still needs to be trained, still gets
Yeah.
sick, right?
Mhm.
Still needs to be managed. So that's how I structure it. Directly, I don't go deep into like
Okay.
exact
So
numbers.
yeah. Okay. So that's good, but that's not enough. So let me show you a little bit different. And I think I've explained this in one of the calls. When I'm selling, if I was to sell this AI dialer, I would actually not compare it to a $18. I would not even compare it to a VA. I would compare it to an SDR. All right. So as an example, let's say my growth team. My growth team, I was paying them $75 per discovery call that shows up. I was paying them $100, no, 50 per DC, and then 175 per strategy session that shows up. Okay. If you just combine those two, it's like 125, $150. I think it was like $150 for the first two calls. If they book 100, then I'm having to pay how much? If they let's say
7,000?
combined, yeah, let's say 7,000, right? 7,000 times 12 is 84,000 a year, right?
Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So $84,000. Okay. Now, I don't just have one GS. I don't just have one setter. I have five of them, right? So now, let's say on average, they're getting paid 4K, 5K a month. Okay. Let's say 4 times 5 is 20, let's say 20K on just GSs, right? And the output is maybe five, let's say they all do 100 new outreach. That's like 500 to 700, 800 people reached out to every day, right? So for $20,000 a month, I'm getting 5 days of work times, let's say 700 leads talk to. That's 3,500 per week. So I'm paying 3,500 times 4. That's 14,000. So I'm paying 14,000. I'm reaching out to 14,000 people for 20K a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you guys have to do is you guys actually have to go on a yearly basis. 20K on 5 people times 12. That's $250,000, right? When you guys get on a sales call, okay, and you try to pitch this AI dialer, do not compare it to the unit cost of an hour work. Do not compare it to the unit cost. Compare it to the yearly cost of running $1 million a year business, right? Now, you want to go to them and be like, okay, do you want to spend $250,000 on 5 setters, okay, to make $1 million or two, right? Not even including the cost of sales, not even including the cost of ads. Or would you rather pay 50K a year for 10 times the same output, right? When you pitch $250,000 efficiency for 8K, then it becomes a completely different story. They're buying $250,000 worth of value. not buying just $5, $10 an hour, less an hour. Okay. So that's how you guys should be selling it. It's keep it pure logically, like logic. Just use logic because this is like clear outcome based. And then everything else, you can just say, hey, we're actually going to help you guys also solve other problems in the sales process. Right. And then you can show them how if you had an AI dialer that can reach out to thousands of people a minute without getting tired, would it be unreasonable for you not to actually get to your goal of, let's say, scaling to 100K a month or beyond? And then
Okay.
you give the product 8 grand and then you shut up and then you let them sell themselves.
Okay.
But these are things that you guys should actually have mapped out, like a specific model that shows the potential and that shows the cost. And then you model it off of where they want to go. Like if you want to build $1 million a year business, this is how much appointment setting will cost you. If you want to make $5 million a year, this is how much appointment setting cost will cost you, right? Future pace on a bigger business. Because if you talk to the, oh, you want to go from 5K a month to 10K a month or from 10K a month to 15K a month, you're not talking to much of an exciting transformation. Therefore, people, it's like, okay, 8K, I don't feel like spending it because I'm like, I can probably get to 10K a month or 15K, 20K a month myself without this AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is the business owners we're talking to are, can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
The
hear you.
business owners that we're talking to, they're they're doing like 500K a month, like a mil a month. Like a lot of the
Oh,
times we're talking to big boys. And
mm,
that they are more like, okay, so I'm doing good. I just want to make it more efficient and lower my costs,
yep.
right? And then for
Yeah,
them it's, I mean, it's a little bit harder to do that yearly because first of all, we have to dig deep, and then it's the first time we're hopping on call with them. Some business owners won't want to give away the information. They'll shut me
yeah,
down. They'll say like, "Oh, you know what? Let's forget it. I just want to know more about the AI." Right? If I
yeah.
try and go like a little bit deep.
Yeah,
So,
then that's just a lack of framing. You tell them, hey, you can leave this call if you don't fucking want to share your numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, no, literally. Like it's not like you shouldn't let they came here for your solution. You're the one they came for, you're the expert. So if I came on learning, literally, this is something that I would love to learn. If you ask me, hey, how much are you spending on appointment setting? I would just go on the P&L and look, oh, we just spent 38 grand on appointment setting last month. And I would
Mhm.
tell you to the unit it costs how many people, what is their volume, how much work are they putting in, how many hours are they working, and then you can actually build a model based off of that,
Mhm.
right? But if you guys are talking to 500K a month plus people, then you may potentially want to start charging even more because
Yeah,
Yeah.
8K is not.
we chart like even though we shouldn't, I mean, it's not just the same product. Also, once you're replacing like a business that makes more, it's more complicated for the agents. The integration
Yeah.
needs to be a little bit different. So we have like a structure for how much they make. We charge more, right? I think you cut out again.
But we
Okay.
may not be charging enough for some of these bigger
No.
guys. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like the most we pitched is 15 grand for like a mil a month. It could be more than a mil. It's just a mil plus a month. Um,
I would still try. I would push it as much as I can. The more you guys talk to people making more, you should go from 15K to 17.5 to
Mhm.
20K, eventually 25K. Because here's the thing. If they already have more lead flow, then the value is greater, right? So it's if for someone who has only 100 leads per month, your dialer is not going to be helpful. For someone who has 100 lead an hour, your thing it becomes 100,000 times more valuable,
Mhm.
right? Because it's also like because here's the thing, here's where the value is. The value is not actually necessarily in appointment setting. It's in bringing future appointments today. Because humans cannot reach out to every lead flow that comes in every second, right? So you charge based on that outcome. Because for me, if you told me, hey, Serge, you will never have to follow up with your dialers because this one will dial inevitably, regardless if it's raining, snowing, no internet, it will dial. Well, you might be solving a $10 million problem for me. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you're
for sure.
$5 million problem for me, 10 million, what is 20K for me? What is 30K for me? For 5 mil a year, I'd gladly spend 30K a month every month for 5 mil, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
For sure. We can get that set up if you'd like.
No, love it, love it. So then how has it been? So I know you guys are working hard every day. But like how has the growth changed your belief in yourselves? How has
Yeah.
that, how do you guys look at yourselves in the mirror in the morning?
That's a
You know
good
what?
question.
You know what, Serge? So it's I wish okay. I wish it was as great as I thought it was gonna be, okay? But to be honest, it feels the same as when I was making 5K a month, looking to make 30K. And now
Yeah,
when I'm looking up at 100K and I don't know, maybe it's like fucking like body dysmorphia in the gym, right? When you fucking work out, you have a six pack, you look in the mirror and it's like, I want an eight pack or I want
yeah,
bigger biceps, right? It's I swear to God, I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel okay. I had probably the highest high of my entire life when I collected 8K on the 30 minutes. And,
yeah.
Jack said he had a good kind of reference. He felt like a different energy. Like when he was walking around, he was like a boss. We lost Serge again. But yeah, honestly, I'm not
No, no, I
okay.
hear you guys. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Is that energy that shifts? It's the shift in energy. Because before you guys were people who were trying to chase success. You were still like kind of like faking it, till you make it type of feeling. You're still
Yeah.
kind of like not really. But when
Yeah.
when the switch happens, where you actually have proof of concept and you've actually done it, it's not that you're necessarily high all the time off of success, but it's because that's comes and goes. You win today, tomorrow you'll feel like shit. The next day you'll feel great. The next day you'll feel like shit. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the new identity you build of
Oh
someone
yeah.
who actually what they said they would fucking do,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And like Jax, maybe you can talk about the little confidence boost, maybe how you take different steps every day with a little bit more energy and a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, it definitely the best way I can describe it is like Nick said, it's relatively it's like yeah, the gym comparison was good because like once you reach a goal, I feel like that's just the way humans are designed. You're gonna set a new goal. You're gonna need some sort of purpose to drive you to keep moving. So yeah, like 30K now, awesome. Don't get me wrong, especially since we did that in 1 month from 5K. So that's awesome. And yeah, there's definitely I would say an energy. It's just a different energy. Just a different energy about life, even. It's just
Yeah.
day to day just feels a bit just feel a bit more. I don't know. I don't know the best way to describe it. I think just there's like a different energy around is the
Yeah.
best way I can describe it. It just feels, it feels a bit better.
Serge, I don't know if you remember, well, you definitely remember, but I remember when you were first talking about starting out in drop shipping and you were like
Yeah.
squatting and then you made like your first sale and you were looking around at everyone in the gym, you're like, look at these peasants, right? I made 30 bucks and I was squatting. Right after I made
Yeah.
8K and then I went to the gym, I was looking around, I was like, you were below me.
But yeah, no, I think for me, like if I'm honest with you guys, I think that that's what success is about, right? Success is never going to be about money. It's never going to be about, oh, the work gets fun. Work is always shitty. Of
Hmm.
course, you get into the zone, get into the flow, and it's fun. Work becomes fun. It becomes a sport. But the real treasure in winning and setting goals and getting everything you achieved is the fucking confidence you get that you fucking did what you said you were going to do and you did it.
Hmm.
And that's the thing that people who never do hard things, who never actually end up spending the money on ads, showing up on the calls, taking 100 fucking 50 appointments, only getting 3% close, but still fucking showing up the next day. Those who never get there, who never do that shit, because it's not easy, right? It's shitty fucking taking 150 calls a month. It's work, right? But it's because at the end of the month, you end up doing the numbers you said you were going to do and you grow the business. But the real win is, and the thing nobody can take away from you, you guys can make money, lose money, but no one will ever take away from you guys the fact that you at 18 and at 21, you guys achieved a fucking goal that is super hard, right?
Yeah,
And
for
that's what's
sure. Hmm. I've always heard people say like people not where we are way farther ahead than where we are right now, like that really get successful with their businesses. And like, I guess you could probably relate to it because you're very successful with it as well, where they always say the journey is more fun than the destination. And like the journey was the fun part looking back. And like even just getting to 30K here, like there was ups and downs for sure, but like it's super fun. And then once you reach that goal, the fulfillment you feel is definitely makes it worth it to set a new goal and go through the stresses, the ups and downs of that until you reach it. And then looking back on the journey, being like, damn, we did that and it was fun. Even the downs was fun.
Yeah, no, this is what success is about. And super glad, 18, 20. I mean, you guys have a lot of work to do. The only advice I could probably give you guys is um don't lift your don't lift your heads until you guys are doing 300K a month.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Because it's super easy to confuse 30K a month from 5K a month with, oh, this is going to be always growing like this. Fuck no. It is going to grow like that if you guys stay on it. But if you guys start taking, oh, noon, I'm going to go chill because, I have people fulfill, closer making me money. Nah, 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 nah. When you
Mhm.
guys free yourselves up from selling, you guys better go and learn about hiring. You guys better go build your fulfillment. You guys better get on YouTube content.
Yep.
I
That's what
haven't,
we're doing.
I haven't seen, I haven't seen a bunch of content from you guys. I'm like, I need the 300K a month from you guys,
For sure.
you know?
Part
Yeah.
of our plan is we so I know a lot of people say, okay, once you're making this and this, right? But no, we're not gonna be like that. Our goal is once we hit 150K, okay, or 100K, we want to go to Bali, okay?
Yeah.
And we looked at an Airbnb, it's like 3K, right? We'd be spending less than 10% of what we make per month, right? So it's reasonable, right? But the goal
Yeah.
isn't to go and chill there. The goal is to get a camera, start recording content, right? Networking in there. And we don't want to be like,
Mhm.
to be honest, the only person that I can really like when I look at YouTube videos and I look at people who, pull up and they have their drawing board and it's just copy and paste, right? I I don't want to produce content like that. I don't want to sit there and say, how's it going, guys? And then have like a drawing board and all this stuff. I want to almost produce content in a way that it looks like a vlog, right?
Yeah.
And build a personal brand like that because I think it's a lot more scalable to do it that
Yeah.
way compared to just sitting in front of your screen and recording. And that's why we've been hesitating on the content sort of side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because the value is the main thing, but just the way entertainment and social media is set up, no matter how you can give the most valuable stuff in the world, but if it's not entertaining, you're gonna get capped at a certain limit. And so we're trying to figure out the best way to approach giving good value, but almost being more entertaining than valuable. Still giving good value, but having that good entertainment to where people want to keep watching. Because no matter how good the value is, if it's not entertaining, a lot of people aren't going to want to tune in or watch it. You know what I mean? So, and we've never made content before, so we really don't know the best way to
yeah,
approach it. Um,
Well, I mean, listen, if you guys want, I wouldn't suggest you guys necessarily wait until you guys are in Bali and can create a really good experiences. If you guys want to do more personal stuff, document your journey today. You don't have to wait for to do it. If you guys want to be entertaining, you better become entertaining where you guys are at home. Because you
yeah,
ain't gonna be entertaining in Bali if you can't be entertaining at home. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
start early.
Kind of wish we started documenting the journey like before this month, because then
well,
that
we
would,
sort of do. I mean, I have fathoms, I have
yeah,
screenshots. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
But get on it, get on it. That's just my advice. It's gonna change your lives. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad from people making content. I've always heard it's just
Yeah,
upside once you get doing it.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Love it, love it. Cool. So when are we hitting 100K a month? What's the timeline?
February.
I think this month.
Yeah, end of February.
I think now that we got good, our close rate, if we're sitting at even a 15% close rate, we're hitting at 150K, just based off our past month numbers, and that's still a shit close rate. Our closer says he'll be able to get 20%, no problem. He says good chance he gets 40, even 50%, just because of how valuable the product is. So
Yeah,
just based
that's
off the 50% is a little extreme, but hypothetically, that would be like 500 to 700K a month, like, which that seems a bit ridiculous saying that out loud, but it's really just going based off of the numbers. Like if we're at a 30% close rate, that's 10x from what we did this month. That's 300K. Um,
Yeah.
so it's really, that's the first step, is the shit we knew that our obstacle was just better quality calling. We had our numbers, so we knew what to expect based on this close rate. And we know that if we get to this close rate, the output will be this amount of revenue. So the profit margins our profit margins are about 95% because our only expenses really ads.
Yeah.
And then now it would be 15% to our closer. But yeah, just based off the numbers, I think we could definitely hit 100K this month.
Let's do it. Let's set a goal.
Sorry,
And if you
sorry,
guys,
sir. I need to switch that. So, sir, and I'll tell you the reasoning. So actually, we're aiming for 150K. And want to
okay,
know why? The main
please.
reason is, and the one thing that I think I learned from school that's super valuable is whenever I
Mhm.
go in for an exam or a test, okay, and I say,
Yeah.
okay, I want to get 90 on the test, I always get an 80 or an 85, right? Or if I say, I want to get 100, right? Then I'll get like a 90, 95. I say like, I'm gonna do extra. I'm gonna do extra on top of all the study sheets. I'm gonna get better than, well, you can't do better than 100%. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we always over, like for example, our goal this month was 50K, right? We're like
Mhm.
35, right? So 150K, right?
Let's go.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, which is a great way to think about it. Now it's just about breaking it down, knowing what 150K is per week, what a
Mhm.
in when in terms in lead flow, appointments, and close deals, right?
Yep.
And then
One
bring it back.
one deal a day.
Let's go, and then it's doable.
Hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then let's say this. I'm expecting at least 6 figures next month. This month, let's do another. It would be crazy if, let's say, check this out. I don't. I'm not gonna post this. What I don't know in the way I'm gonna post this, but imagine we do a second interview and you guys just did 100 grand.
Yeah, that would,
Bro, it's
okay,
gonna happen.
we
It's
gotta do,
gonna
yeah,
happen.
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna
Let's
happen.
do
Don't
it.
worry.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
I'm down. I'm down. That'll be the craziest thing ever.
Bro,
But yeah,
if we start doing 100K a month, we have to join the hundreds, Serge.
Yeah,
you got to, because you guys are gonna need a lot of people, because we
yeah,
might go crazy how much work.
yeah.
Love it. All right, guys. So, thank you. Please, congrats on all your success, boys. Stay on it. I know you guys are locked in, dialed in. Just stay on it. I promise you, one full year of commitment is a lifetime of change. Like all I ask of you guys, let 2024 be the year where you guys just fucking stay dialed in. Push back as much of the pleasure, push back as much of the, hey, I'm gonna get a new car, I'm gonna move out, I'm gonna travel. Lock in. Now is the time to clear at least 1 million. Once you clear 1 million, everything else doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's it. That's all. If you guys ever have any questions for me, I'm here for you guys. And the team is here. And thank you guys for fucking chasing success and chasing more. That's all. That's all. That's all I love personally. Right.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank
All
you
right.
for your time,
Take care,
Serge.
boys. Thank you. Love
All
y'all.
right,
Bye bye.
take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.